In addition, when I'm looking at the incident itself, I have the options of adding notes and viewing all the notes all at once. So that's yet another feature that I think is really useful for most of your staff members. Another nice thing is that you have the ability to apply templates immediately. So traditionally, when you were registering an incident and you wanted to use a template, you'd select that template, and it was kind of a crapshoot if you had all the fields populated on the form, because when you selected that template, it didn't put that information on the form right then and there. Well, BMC realized that this was an issue. I know that I had been bitten by it a number of times, and so now when you select the template, whatever information that you defined in that template will immediately appear right then and there in the incident record. And so that's a really nice enhancement, and I think ultimately will make the templates module more usable for most organizations. Also, we have the incident matching. This, again, was something that was first introduced in the spring 13, so BMC has furthered that even more, and so at this point, you no longer have to save the record before you can use that incident matching. You can be in the middle of registering an incident and say, wait a minute, let's see what other incidents out there that are similar to this, and use that incident matching. So I'll cover that. I think some of these features, a lot of people may not necessarily know that they're there. So although BMC's, some of the things that we're going to be covering are just the slight enhancements, but also I think it's going to be good for you to see some more practical uses for some of these features like the incident matching. In addition to that, we have the ability to close all of the incidents that are linked. So this is very similar to the incident matching, or as an enhancement to the incident matching. If I have multiple incidents or multiple incidents linked to each other, when I close the parent incident, it can also then close all of the linked incidents, much like what you would have done previously with work orders or the task module in Remedyforce. Okay. And continuing on with the ease of use, the knowledge base. One of the challenges of previous versions have been that the only way that you could add content to the knowledge base was, one, you had to have access to that tab or to that module within your Remedyforce implementation, and you had to go to that and create a knowledge article. And it really was not an efficient, it wasn't the most efficient thing, and BMC recognized that and has made the corrective action here in the sense of now you can add to the knowledge base while you're interacting with the incident. So that's nice. So the idea is that truly you want to capture and reuse knowledge. Well, if I'm working on an incident and I've searched the knowledge base, I see that content isn't there and it needs to be added, well, now I can add to the knowledge base. It won't be published, but at least it'll be in the knowledge base, and then it can begin to enter your knowledge management process, whatever that might be. So that's a really nice enhancement from the perspective of the knowledge base. Also, knowledge articles can be linked to configuration items. This is something that we've had customers ask about, since the Service Desk Express days, and even with other products. And I am happy to say that this is now available. So from a configuration item in your configuration management database, you have the ability to link those knowledge articles to that asset. So if there's something unique about this application and you have that application as a CI record in your CMDB, then there's no reason that you couldn't link it to that particular CI. Okay, CI being the configuration item. And then in addition to that, another feature is the ability to limit knowledge articles to the services that a client is exposed to. So here again, this is where it does require, and I'm not for sure how many organizations are going to have their CMDB fully developed enough to fully take advantage of this, but I think it's important that you realize that this capability is there, and it is certainly something that will bring value to you. So today, if you imagine going to the knowledge base through self-service, and I'm seeing all of the knowledge articles that have been exposed to the self-service portal. Whether I use that service or use that application or not, it's going to be available to me. Well, now you actually have the opportunity to say, okay, I've got my email service, and these are the group of customers that consume that service, and therefore any knowledge articles that are related to that service, only those knowledge articles will be available to them in the self-service page. So here again, it's really allowing you to enrich the self-service experience for your customers and minimize the clutter in the sense that you're only showing them knowledge articles that are relative to that particular customer and the services that they consume. Okay. Lastly, when we talk about ease of use, the manifest. The manifest was something that was introduced in the release or in release management, and basically allowed me to see all of the tasks, all the change orders, all the linked records to that release. And really we were talking about change records and task. Well, they've taken that, they saw that as a useful feature when you start planning all these different types of things. And so now the manifest is available in your incident, which is commonly used in a service request process. Okay, so if you could imagine the onboarding of a new employee and having 5, 10 tasks that are associated to that request for the new employee, well, the manifest allows me to order those ad hoc, as well as define what statuses that the parent record would have once it's at that level, that type of thing. And then we also have this manifest capability in problem management as well. And then lastly, change management. So here again, if you've got multiple tasks that are associated to your change process, the manifest is something that will help you develop the change plan and develop and make that available to the different users. So there again, the manifest capabilities being added to incident, problem, and change. It already existed with the release management. Okay, and then lastly, let's talk a little bit about some of the customer satisfaction functionality that was introduced. Here, we're really talking about surveys. So when we talk about surveys, first of all, there are 2 surveys that you can have within your implementation. One of which for incidents, so your traditional break-fix scenarios, and then lastly, the second type of survey would be for your support requests. So again, support requests being situations where I'm requesting new services, and so once I've fulfilled those services, we want to be able to see how well we did, right? What is the customer's perception of the level of service that we're providing, whether it be for an incident or a service request. These surveys are customizable, meaning that you can add your own custom questions if you'd like. You can determine the terminology that's used in the surveys, as well as you also have the ability to define and modify the workflow rules so that you can determine which incidents that were closed get surveyed, those types of things. Commonly, I'll get the question, I don't want to survey my executives for whatever reason that might be. And so you could very easily manipulate your workflow rules to exclude that because now, with the VIP capability in this version, you could exclude surveys that for people that have that VIP status if you wish to do that. So again, that's some of the capabilities that we have with customer satisfactions. Lastly, I do want to just also talk a little bit about ScanStar. So for those of you that maybe are not familiar, ScanStar is a barcode scanning solution that RightStar has developed, and it is to be used in a way of, one, populating your configuration management database, as well as ensuring that that configuration management database stays up to date. Right, and as you can see here on the screenshot, there are three primary functions of ScanStar. The receiving capability, so as I receive new assets, I can enter those into the CMDB, and I can scan the asset tag, I can scan the serial number, and that's one less thing that I have to worry about incorrectly typing in or some type of complex import process. In addition to that, we can also track the assets. So as I'm moving them from one user to another or from one location to another, I can track those assets. And then ultimately, the last feature that ScanStar provides is the verification capability. So if I periodically need to do my inventory, manual inventory, I can verify the assets, and I can certainly I have a record of that annual inventory through the verification module. But one of the things that we did with ScanStar as it relates to this since the spring release is we've added the ability for you to capture a digital signature. So this was something that was in a previous product, the predecessor to ScanStar, Magic Wand, and it was really brought about from a customer where they were having problems proving that the customer actually got the laptop that they had ordered. They were literally having hundreds of laptops and hundreds of electronic devices walk out the door, and there wasn't any type of human accountability that yes, this actually happened. And so with ScanStar in this recent version, as I deliver the laptop and I set it up at your desk and I configure it and power it on and give you the quick walkthrough of it, once I'm done, I'm going to ask you for your signature. You're going to sign on the handheld device, and that is then stored against the CI, the configuration item, in the CMDB. So some nice capability that we've added to ScanStar since the spring release and is now available with the Summer 13 release. So with that, enough of the PowerPoint. Let's get into the product demonstration.